It was a dark and stormy night. You were charging your car when out of the woods emerges a large grizzly bear. You want to drive away, but you can't because your car is already plugged in. What do? Do you A, get out of your car to try and unplug it so you can drive away, risking your life from the bear? Or B, do you hide in your car, hoping that the bear won't smell your fear? If only there could be an option C.
Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching In Depth
On Now You Know.
We want to thank Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. What are you doing? Why are you so angry?
I'm writing lots and lots of emails.
Well, emails to whom?
I'm writing to big corporations telling them that I'm very upset that they are tracking all of my data online.
You don't need to do that. You just need Surfshark.
I thought Surfshark was just so I could watch Netflix like when I'm in a different country.
No, Surfshark does much more than that, like Clean Web. Surfshark's Clean Web prevents malware or phishing attempts from getting to you. Plus, you can forget ads and trackers ever existed.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, and then there's multi-hop, where you connect via multiple countries at once to take ID protection and footprint masking to the next level.
Ooh, multi-hop sounds good.
And how about camouflage mode?
Ooh, what's that?
Camouflage mode makes sure even your internet provider can't tell that you're using a VPN. And the best part for me is that all of my devices are covered. It is super easy.
Sweet. How do I sign up for Surfshark?
Use our code to get 83% off and 3 extra months for free. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee so you can try it out for yourself risk-free.
Go check it out. The link is in the description below. And as we get closer to Thanksgiving and you're not quite sure how you're going to get to Grandma's house in your new EV, why don't you check out a better route planner? This will let you drive to your brother-in-law's house and then to Grandma's house and make sure that you can charge the entire way there because they use waypoints. Click the link down below to get a 30-day free trial to the premium app of A Better Route Planner.
I am really excited about this episode because you did something a few months ago that you hadn't even told me you were going to do, but I'm really glad you did it. So we were on a call with the Tesla Owners Club of Wisconsin, and one of their members said that there's a problem with Teslas.
Exactly, and all EVs for that matter, but Tesla specifically. And it reminded me of a time where I had the exact same problem. I was supercharging at the top of a garage in Boston. It was dark and stormy night, and I'm plugged in. I'm sitting in the car, charging up, and a sketchy looking car pulls up really close by at the top of a parking garage at night in the rain.
Freaked you out, huh?
Freaked me out. There's no reason for them to be up there. There's no view. Unless you're supercharging, why you park there? I had to drive up an entire empty parking lot to get to the roof. Now I'm on the roof, and I was sketched out.
Big deal. Why don't you just drive away?
Plugged in, can't drive away.
Right.
So, and I didn't want to get out of the car because they're kind of close. If I get out of the car, maybe they're thinking that I'm going to do something sketchy, and they're going to, I don't know.
So, when you actually put this out to the community and you said, I'd like, you set a deadline. You're like, if you've got a solution, send it to us. You know what I was doing in the back of my head? I was going, no one's going to send us anything.
And who was
I
right?
was wrong,
Who was
okay?
right, yeah.
So, point Jesse. All right, let's just start. Well, you know what? Let's go out and test these 4 things and then come back and talk about it.
All right.
Okay, so what is this?
This is the safety skirt of science.
What do you need a safety skirt of science for?
We're doing testing today of our escape systems.
So, let's see. This one looks fairly obvious.
It's the Tesla charge handle ejector. So step 1 is going to be, I'm actually going to unplug. Slide the device over the charge handle and line up the back of the front collar with the line on the charge handle.
Line it up like this. Okay. Step 2, tighten the knob down tight to hold the device firmly in place on the handle.
Okay. That's fairly tight.
Step 3, insert the charge handle into the charge port. You will feel more resistance than normal because of the springs. Push it until the charge handle locks to the car and let go. Okay, I heard it click.
I don't think I did it right. It's clicking a lot. It's flashing yellow. I've never seen it flash yellow before.
If needed, the handle can be ejected from the car by either using in-car touchscreen controls or the mobile app.
So I don't think I lined it up properly, so maybe let me adjust it again. Okay. All right, so let me try that again. flashing green.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's holding it in right now?
Right now, it wants to spring off the back of the car.
What's holding it in?
That would be the little thing on the top of the charger, of my charge port that locks in the thing. So that way vandals can't come along and pull it out.
And so when you were putting that in, you had to hold it for a few extra seconds while you waited for that to come down and lock in?
I'm not sure how much longer I had to have held it. I just held it till the green light flashed.
Okay, so now I want to pretend that there's a bear.
Yeah.
I'll be the bear.
Okay, I'll get in the car. So
Okay, so you get in the car. I'm going to put on my best bear impersonation.
great.
Roar!
Oh no, there's a bear.
I'm going to eat you. You have to get out of the car and unplug though, Tesla.
Oh wait,
owner.
hang on.
Wait, what?
See ya.
Success.
It did work.
That worked.
Yeah.
Bear did not get you.
So now I want to try it with the app.
Okay.
So let me try plugging it in again. So it is a little finicky.
How
getting
hard was it to
pushed
push in?
It's not that hard.
First press stop charging, then press unlock charge port. Handle will be ejected and you'll be able to drive away safely.
Okay, so this would be, I don't know exactly the situation where I need to use this, but
Maybe you're approaching your car and you see some bad people and you want to get in fast and drive
get out
away.
fast. Okay, so stop charging, unlock charge port.
Wow.
And I mean, it didn't hit my car.
No, I mean, it touched here, but I don't think that would have hit your car.
No, because I mean, there's nothing
Right.
under there so that's pretty
And
cool.
it didn't break or anything. It's fine. And so it has these 3 little points here, which have little felty,
Felts.
rubbery things on there.
Yeah, and I just want to take a look at the charge port.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
there's
sign of damage or anything.
No visible damage, at least.
So the only downside, I think, on this design
Yeah.
is that, is this where the little thing from the Tesla comes in and
Yeah,
holds it?
comes in up from the bottom. I thought it was the top, but yeah, up from the bottom, it locks it in place. And
And
this
so now
is,
it's under pressure.
yeah, this is going to be exerting force on that. It's going to be pushing against it constantly. So my only concern, and I haven't tested it, I don't know, but my only concern would be that this design would eventually
Wear that
break
out.
that.
Right.
And when that breaks, it's not like, oh no, I've got to call Tesla. It's, oh no, my car is stuck plugged in, because the thing would be stuck up there, maybe. Maybe it would break and fall back down. But if it was stuck in there, then I'd call Tesla and go, hey, the charger's stuck. No way for me to take this off. Let's pretend it's plugged in. So I mean, like, let's say that I told it to stop charging and it wouldn't let go of the plug. And I was like, oh man, what do I do? So I'd have to like hold on to this, release the pressure on it, then
Hope that the release pressure now allows that to unlock.
now I could slide this out of the way. I would hope that this would unlock it, but if that didn't work, I'd have to sweep that under the rug. And then,
And just to be clear, like right now, if you hit the same release stuff you just did,
yeah, okay.
what happened?
So I've
turns
stopped
blue.
charging. It's blue. Unlock charge port.
And so the thing went down, but it doesn't pop off because there's no spring to pop it
Right.
off.
And you pull
You
it
can
out.
Pull it out. Okay.
So I mean, impossible to do from inside the car unless you somehow rigged up a pulley system or something.
It seems like it's cheap to make, but the downside to me is that I'm not a big fan of the pressure on there. And the other question I have for you is, this is an at-home Tesla charger. Aren't these supercharger handles at the supercharger stalls meatier? Would that
Yes.
fit?
Basically, you just redesign this to have a supercharger version of
Oh,
it.
okay, a slightly different size.
So
Okay.
it would be slightly different size. This was all I was asking for.
Right.
And that's where we'll start. And then, if people buy lots of these, hopefully, then they can work on making one that works for superchargers.
Okay.
One other thing that I would just want to point out would be that I don't think those little scratches were there before. I mean, there is a little bit of padding here, but it's not a lot. And I'm just worried that that could cause damage to your Tesla charger, public Tesla chargers. I feel like this could be an improved design in the future, so that way you don't maybe damage any cables. So this one is called Disco Spring.
Okay.
This is a design to be used in your garage. So the target and also the bungee cord are to be used in your garage. The idea being,
it goes boing.
yeah, and
And this holds it from falling back at your car.
right. So that kind of fixes that equation. This won't work out in public, obviously. You're not going to go set up bungee cables or anything like that. But it would be nice to have in your garage to kind of have something that would yank it out, hit a nice, this is all foam, so hit the foam pad and then be held up and in place and out of the way. And that way, if you have a really tight garage, you could summon your car out of the garage without having to squeeze through, open the door, get in and get out.
So that's not what you asked for, but it's a double use for this.
Exactly.
I assume this could also be used at a supercharger. Is that why we got 2 different colors and 2 different sizes?
Yeah, so we have 2 different sizes. The green one looks like it's going to be for home use. That one looks like it could be used for supercharging.
Okay. So this isn't 3D printed. This looks like, I mean, I'm not a plastics engineer, but I think this is injection molded plastic.
It is.
Isn't that expensive to do on small runs?
Well, but this might have been used for something else.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. It looks like it was used for some other purpose, and maybe that's going to make it a lot cheaper.
So let's see, a giant spring here with plastic to protect your car.
Yep.
And this is similar to the other one where it clamps down on the body, but instead of a screw down clamp, we have like a over the top clamp. So
Yep.
let's try it.
We do this before we plug it in, so I think I put it in through here.
Insert the wand through the clamp and spring until nearly flush with the end.
Okay.
Looks like it goes a little proud.
Of the spring here.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks about right.
And then you're
Now
going to
I'm
close
gonna-
the clamp tab down firmly until it locks closed.
Nice click there.
Okay.
Okay. And I mean, I can still press the button through there as well.
Okay.
Okay, so the same idea.
Okay, it's flashing green.
All right, and my car is charging.
All right, I think we got to do the bear test.
Bear test. Oh no, there's a bear. I'm gonna stop charging. Unlock my port and drive away.
It worked.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was really expecting this to like shoot off 12 feet, boing, and hit another car,
Yeah.
but it just went plop on the ground and it's fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, that seemed to work pretty well.
Yes, I'm interested I wasn't really watching it. Last time I was
Right.
being a bear, but
And I was
now
driving
wanna
the car.
see.
So, I mean, the biggest problem with using the app is that sometimes the app can take a minute. Stop charging. There we go. Unlock charge port. Yeah, if I was at a supercharger stall,
I don't think you
I
would
don't
have
think I'd hit anybody. So, I like that.
And I mean, don't forget, you would have had the wire coming from the supercharger.
Sure.
So probably, I don't know. That's, it worked. It did what you asked.
It did what I asked, and they have the supercharger version.
So in one of the other designs, when you took it off the handle, there was like a little bit of scuffing or whatever.
Yeah. So this one uses more of a clamp design. This is what's giving pressure to the actual charger itself. I don't think that the orientation necessarily matters. So if you wanted to put those on the bottom, you probably could. Then to release it, you press on that and pull. That's not bad. And then slides right out. So there's a little bit of rubber right here, and there are these 2 pieces of rubber right there. I mean, if the rubber fell off, you'd probably want to replace it. And then, yeah, it just kind of clicks on like that.
And so then if you're using this at a supercharger, you'd use this actually it looks like these are the same size, but these little rubber grommets are smaller.
Yes.
So you can fit a bigger handle in there.
Right. And so I'm going to assume that it would work pretty much the same.
Yeah, same spring, same.
I mean, the spring, because you put it on in such a way that it's going to line up, the spring, once fully extended, you'll be able to drive away.
Right.
So it's a good, overall, I mean, it's a
You're
good
happy?
design. Yeah, I'm very happy with that.
All right, check this one out. Came in a very fancy box.
Yeah.
Look at this. We've been playing with the box so much that I don't think it lights up anymore, but it used to
have
light up.
lights and fancy
And look
stuff.
at this inside. What are these?
Little Cybertruck inspired adapter grabber things.
And wait, there's more, Jesse. There's a fob,
Okay.
and yeah, there's a charger cable
Okay.
so that you can charge it up,
All right.
I guess. Charge up the fob.
All right,
Okay, so
this
explain.
is the Popit Socket. And so the way that this one works is you have it on, you preload it.
What do you mean preload it? Oh,
So
okay, there's a spring.
There's a spring in there, you preset the spring, then you clamp this on to the charge handle.
Okay.
And then when you're ready to escape, it
Hang
launches
on.
it off.
So this is different than the other 2 designs where you're not relying on the little thing in the...
Right. All right, so I'm going to preload it. Okay, so
So you
now it's
preloaded it.
Preloaded. I had a little bit of trouble with that. It's a stiff spring, and I'm not sure how the locking mechanism exactly works. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in. Okay, so that's
I see
in.
you plug it in until that's flush with the car.
Yeah. Now I'm going to try and clamp this on. I'm afraid that this... Ooh. I did break it. I just broke it.
Okay.
So that's not so great. Yeah, the thing that was supposed to lock it in place just snapped right off. I don't know if we have a larger charging cable, but that's definitely...
I mean, this is a standard Tesla.
Okay. All right, well, let's see if it works without it clamped on. I don't have the highest hopes. So give me the fob, you be the bear.
Okay, so you're going to release it first.
Yes, and then I'll press the button.
Okay. Raw!
Oh no, there's a bear. Stop charging. Unlock the charge port.
It did fire. It just that it slid up the handle because it wasn't tight on the handle.
All right.
So it would have worked. But
well,
it would have worked except that this wasn't quite. But I mean, I will say this is a prototype.
Sure.
And you got to expect on a prototype that's 3D printed that that's not, you know.
Right. I mean, you can increase strength and stuff there.
Yeah, this is a weak point right here, I would say.
Yeah.
For the clamp. But I got to say, it did work in every other respect. If once this is solved, then it should work.
Yeah.
And so my big question, though, is it putting pressure on... It's
No.
not, because this hasn't released
proof.
yet.
That was kind of proof that it's not putting any pressure
So that's
on
really
the system.
interesting. That's really interesting that you're not... So, I mean, the key point, I guess, we're making here is it's not putting any strain on this little... What do you want to call that? The locking mechanism.
The lock, yeah. So this is called the Electric Escape. It's by Swope Designs. So the way this one works is instead of relying on springs, it relies on electronics and motors.
Where are the electronics and motors?
All in here.
Really?
So here, I'll show you how you put it on.
Okay. Wait, what? Wait, I'm sorry. Do that again. I missed it.
All right, you ready?
What? That just drove itself onto the car?
Then you have this hook, which hooks itself onto your door hinge thing right there.
Okay.
So now we're going to do the test.
Wait, don't we now have to do springs or anything?
That's it.
Where's the remote?
There's no remote.
What do you mean there's no remote?
Watch this.
Okay, so I'm a bear, I guess. What?
Huh?
I know bears can't speak, but this bear is speechless. What?
So,
What just happened?
all right, so the way this one works is actually kind of cool. There's a little like limit switch in here, which lets you know when you've put it on the plug. When you do that, it pulls itself onto the plug until it feels resistance to the car.
Wait, what?
Then it uses this sensor right here, which goes right up against that LED on your car.
Are you telling me it has a photo sensor?
Well, it knows something. It may know the color, maybe it knows the brightness, but
Well, isn't that how it knows when you hit stop that it changes from green to not green?
it changes something and it knows to release itself from the car. So once that happens, it knows that it can basically pull this out of your car.
Okay, but when you say pull, how is it pulling?
Again, with those same wheels that it used to pull itself on.
Oh, so the motor reverses and it pulls it off?
Exactly. So if you can see in there, you have a spring-loaded wheel that pinches onto both sides of the thing, and then it pulls it through.
Are you kidding me?
So then also, let's say that you are done charging, there was no bear, you simply press this button and it releases itself.
Oh my goodness, I love this design.
So, I mean, all you have to, it's pretty cool.
Now I have a question for you. Like, you have all this protection on your car right
Sure.
now. If you didn't and this had fallen off your car, would it have hit your car?
Well, so obviously this is still a prototype. They're thinking of adding a lot more foam to this to make it a lot more soft. But if you were worried about that, you just don't hook it up.
So what happens if you don't hook it up?
So let's take a look at what that looks like. I'll catch it,
Okay.
because basically a bunch of stuff is going to fall. I don't want to break this prototype. It's the only one in the world that we have access to.
So now you're in your Tesla app and you're telling your car to stop charging.
Stop charging. So it stops charging. I mean, actually, if you look at it, this is really smart. So they have an LED which mimics exactly what the LED behind it is doing. So when I stop charging, it, instead of flashing, goes to blue.
Wow.
So it's not even like you don't even know what's going on. It still helps you. Then I'm going to unlock the charge port and get ready to catch it.
Okay, so now it's going to fall.
Yes. Unlock charge port.
Wow.
So it falls right off. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that it wouldn't hit your car.
But if it had foam on it, I
yeah.
don't think it would hurt anything.
and then you're gone.
Yeah.
And so just like the other ones where you can stop charging and then unlock the charge port from either the app or inside the car, exactly the same. There's no extra buttons to press. This just works automatically.
And there's no pressure on this pin inside the car.
I mean, there's a little bit, but it stops pulling.
Right. What I mean is it's just sitting there waiting. So there's no pressure. Like the other ones had a spring with tension on it the whole time.
Right. And that spring force had to be enough to eject it from the car. In this case, it's just enough to where the motors realize that there's something there, and then they stop.
A question, how's this powered?
So this is powered with a battery inside itself. So you do need to charge it. Right now the charge port's right there. And you can charge it with the 12-volt cigarette lighter in your car. So that way you could have this sitting in your console, pull it out when you get to any charger. But
question about any charger. Right now it's meant to be used with this.
Yes.
It's meant to be used with this, which is a home charger. It would have to be slightly redesigned to work with a supercharger cable because it's slightly bigger.
Right. More development would have to be put into this, but I mean, the concept is frankly really nice. There's no spring
Little
force.
difference here, though. I just want to point out, it's the only one I think that we've tested where you drive off with it.
That's
the
true.
other ones you have to come back and get it.
Yes.
And so this just hooks on your car. You drive off down the street. You stop your car when the bear's gone, and you get it.
All of the other ones require you to have their thing clamped to that.
This is amazing design.
I'm very impressed with it.
All right, so let's get back to the studio and talk about which ones we think are the winners. All right, so I think that proved that all 4 inventions that were sent to us work.
Somewhat.
All right, so you're talking about this one, which it did break on you.
Ooh, I just broke it. Yes, and then it didn't work after it broke.
Well, that's because it broke. But I mean,
it broke.
let's be fair. This is 3D printed.
Yep, and it's a prototype.
It's a prototype.
Exactly what prototypes
And I mean,
are
I can see that where the weak point would be right here, and that's good to know.
And it felt like it was not going to go on. And I was like, I don't want to keep torquing it, but it wouldn't work if it weren't clamped.
Right.
This is a small piece of the equation to fix. I think that the rest of it would work.
The rest of it's amazing. I mean, first of all, it looks like a Cybertruck.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
There's a couple downsides to me with this design. Once you fix the clamp, I'm very happy with that. You charge it up, that's nice. The fob is great if you have a Model S or X and you have the fob. I don't have a keychain, so I probably need to kind of tape this to somewhere on my car where I knew how to eject.
I don't think that's a big deal. You can keep it in your car, but whatever.
The things that I really liked about this design were that it allows you to, without worrying about destroying your car, it allows you to eject whenever you're ready. And I did like that a lot, where it's not applying any spring pressure to the car.
Okay, but I do want to say, design-wise, I really like a couple features about it. One is that you don't put pressure on that little pin.
Yes.
Because I want to jump now to some of these 2 other designs.
Yep.
These are both very similar in how they work, which is that there's inside this one, there's springs. Here's a big spring. You push this onto the car, and now it's putting pressure on that little pin that's holding the charger in.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of damage that could do to it.
It's a lot of force. And I'm a man.
You're a man.
I'm not a tiny pin.
Right. And so, I mean, you leave your car charged in for hours and hours at a time. And so over time, my guess is that it's going to damage that. It was never designed, like that little pin was designed to just hold it there, but it was never designed to hold it there under pressure for hours.
Right. I mean, yes, you could argue it's for vandals. It's so that way you don't come out to your car and it's like, my car hasn't been charging. It's nice that it can lock it in. You're right. I don't think that that pin was made to hold someone basically pulling with probably 30, 40 pounds of force, maybe 50.
So I would like more answers about that before I would be comfortable using these 2 systems, because none of us want to damage our cars.
Well, let me push back on that a little bit. For me personally, I feel very comfortable charging in most places. However, if I am actively thinking about, this particular charger looks sketchy, and I know that I'm going to be sitting in the charger for a while. Oh, I'm feeling a little skeezed out. It would be nice to have one of these that I didn't spend that much money on.
So you're saying you'd only use it occasionally?
Yeah, if this was like, I'm only going to be here for a couple minutes, at the supercharger. I love that this one already has a supercharger version. So this one I could take with me to the supercharger right now. I could go plug it in, and then for 20 minutes, yes, I'm applying pressure to the charge port. But then if something were to happen, I'm gone.
Let me push back on that. Yes, there are times when you think you might be worried. You know, it's a dark night and you're at the top of a parking garage. I get that. But for this to be really effective, I think you have to use it a lot. Like, you don't know when a car is going to pull into a supercharger. And so you'd want to just be using this all the time.
Right.
And what I really liked about this design, a couple things. First of all, it's not putting pressure on that pin in your car. So there's no damage to the car. Mm-hmm. But second, unlike all these other designs where you pop them off and they stay on the ground, you know, away from your car, this has this little hook. So as you drive off, this thing you spent money on comes with you.
Right.
And you can, you know, a block or two later where the bear is gone, get out of your car, take it back and retrieve it. So you never lose this.
And it makes you feel a little bit less bad about leaving. Because you don't feel like, oh, I'm leaving this behind.
Yeah, third point, I guess, would be these are all involve springs. Oh, these two involve really powerful springs. And we didn't see that it looked like it would bunk into a car next to you, but I guess there's that potential. Whereas this one really just seemed like it bloop, just falls out. And so there's no, you're not going to hurt someone else's car. So, I mean, this one is just an amazing design. Like, I could not believe when we saw it, I didn't even know what I was looking at. And then I thought, well, this can't possibly work. It's so complicated, but it's not actually. It's an elegant design.
Right.
It just solves all the problems.
Yeah. Now, one of the other things that we had noticed when we were testing both of these was the damage that it did to the charger handle.
Oh, right.
I mean, the charger handle, let's face it, the Tesla one, looks really nice. It's not bulletproof.
Right.
So we were noticing that part of the like taped down, glued down section on top was starting to peel off. I think it was because of these parts. It was squeezing unevenly right there.
And the same thing on this one, because it's putting pressure in one point, it kind of pulls up the other point. And so, I mean, that's, I think, something that could be fixed if you could spread the load out somehow.
And I think that the Popit Socket would work pretty well if it was implemented properly and it didn't break, to where you'd have a lot more surface area kind of holding the plug, and it hopefully would do less damage. But by far, the one that did the least amount of damage was the electric escape, because it's not doing anything. There's no pressure. There's nothing. It's not even clamped on. It's just sitting there.
I would like to stress one point. These are all prototypes,
Exactly.
like early stage prototypes. They just were trying to meet a deadline and to show us a proof of concept.
It was a crazy deadline.
I don't want anyone walking away being like, that looks cheap and crappy. This is just basically to make sure that it works. If it works, then you go through the iterative process to figure out, like, how can you improve it and how can you solve some of these problems. And that's to be expected.
Exactly. So let's get down to the brass tacks of it, though. Price. Obviously, this is going to cost a whole lot more than this. I know that to everyone at home, this looks like just a black box. And for the most part, it is. There is a circuit board in here. It's a custom circuit board. There's batteries in here. There's motors. There's a motor that's on a spring.
But I mean, we talked to the inventors, father, son, by the way, and the biggest expense they think there's going to be is actually the box, because this one's 3D printed. But when you get into full production, you have to go to, you know, some kind of injection molded box, and that gets expensive. And so it may not be that expensive if the volume was high enough. All right, so here's where you guys come in. You're the community. You need to help us. Like, the promise that Jesse made was, we will help market if you come up with a solution. And I would argue these are all solutions.
They're all
different
solutions,
but they're solutions. Right. They work. So we need your help. We need some information from you guys about what you're willing to spend and which things that you saw that you liked. Are you worried about getting attacked by bears and so forth? So first of all, we're going to put a poll on our Patreon. It's going to be open to everyone. So we're going to put the link right here, patreon.com/nowyouknow, and there'll be a poll up there so that you can help us to answer some questions, because we have lots of questions. Also, the father-son team that designed this, they are seriously thinking of going forward with this, but they have some questions about what you'd like to see and all sorts of things. So we're going to put the link down below to their website so that you can go to their poll and help them out. Because look, what we're trying to do here is no one's trying to get rich here. We're trying to basically save some lives or save some people from getting hurt. I can completely picture from what we've heard from other people and from our own experiences that there are going to be some times with sketchy cars, with bears, with who knows what else, fires. I mean, we've seen people's houses burned down and they need to get out of their garage fast. So there's all kinds of times when you just need to get out quickly. And if we can help people from getting hurt or killed, that's going to be amazing. So that's where we need your help, is to make these things. First of all, these inventors, they spent weeks and weeks, months, figuring this out for you, for the community. And so I first just want to give them a huge congratulations, because if it weren't for you coming out with these amazing ideas, we wouldn't be talking to
There'd be
you.
no episode.
Right.
We would go, oh, darn.
There's no way to escape from a bear.
I guess people are just
Right.
gonna get attacked in
Right.
the middle of the night, and I didn't want that, and so I'm so happy that we had 4 different teams answer the call. Kudos to you guys. It's fantastic.
And you know what? We're going to do the poll and everything. I know that Electric Escape has their own questions, but we have questions too that you can't just answer in a poll. So we're going to also have a Google form down below. Now, I know we're asking for some homework here, but I mean, this is important
This
stuff.
is stuff that could save your life.
Yeah, and so 5 minutes of your time could be really valuable to everyone in the community. So we have a bunch of questions down there that we'd like you to answer. All sorts of things about which designs you liked, how much you're willing to spend, how much this is worth it to you, and so forth, so that we can kind of get some market survey data here to help us decide like how to go forward and help these inventors decide how to go forward. And I just want to ask you, are you willing to market and like tell the community about like if one of these guys wants to go forward with their design?
Absolutely. Everyone needs to hear about these designs. It's imperative, I think, that we get out many of whatever people want. I think that it's great that we have something that, probably costs significantly less than this. Having a market for something is even more valuable than having one product.
This is something I didn't think about before we started getting these products sent to us. I thought, okay, well, someone will come up with one design and that'll be it. And then when we got 4, I thought, well, this is just awful. There's just too many choices. But then I thought, that's what we like as consumers, right? We like choices. These are going to have different price points, different use applications. And so I think it's actually better to have lots of things to choose from because they each answer a slightly different use.
Exactly. So please, if you would just take a moment of your time to vote in our Patreon poll, the link will be below. Also, the Google form, the link will be below. And in the comments, just let us know what you're thinking. Are you excited about this? Do you have a better design? Why didn't you enter the competition? That's your fault. But yeah, I think these 4 designs fit a lot of different niches.
Yeah. I'm so excited to be a part of this community. I can't imagine that you just like on a whim said to the community, like, here's this thing, it's impossible, but go do it. And that we got 4 amazing designs that all work.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see who the winner is over on Patreon.
And it's not to me about the winner. I think, like I said, all of these have different use cases and they're going to come in for different prices and stuff. And so to me, it's more about like, what do you guys want and what are you looking for? So that'll help people decide, like, should I spend an extra $5 to put this feature on or not? Because that's what they need to know. Yeah. So as Jesse said, there's 3 things you have to go do: the Patreon poll, our Google form, but then also head on over to Electric Escape by Swope Designs, where they have their website and their questionnaire for their device, because it is pretty complicated. And so fill those in. It'll only take a few minutes, and then we'll have a lot of great data, so we'll know how to proceed.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a part of this amazing community. This wouldn't have happened if we didn't have this community. And I'm so excited that we have such a amazing, smart, intelligent, resourceful community of people who are willing to do something to help people. It's just so awesome. All right, hit the like button. We'll see you next week.
Take that, bears.
Now you know.